God is omnipresent. There is no person, place, or thing where God is not, because God is infinite. And as I know God is infinite, I also know that because God is infinite, there can exist nothing other than God. God is in each and every person in this world, in this room, in the Zoom room. God is here, in, through, as each and every single one of these people, and God is omniscient. There is no knowledge, no wisdom that exists outside of God. I am here in this omniscience. I am this omnipresence. I am here now, God living through me, as me. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every person here. I know that each and every person here in this building, in this Zoom room, is God manifesting. And as I know about that, I know also that each and every person here is open for this message that we are to receive today. I am knowing and trusting that each and every person is blessed and open to receive, and that the person giving the talk, our own visiting minister, Dr. Michael Curcuru, is blessed to give this message, to speak this God message to each of these God people here and now. I am knowing and trusting that each of these people will receive this message to bring it out into the world, spreading light, just like a ripple is spread out throughout a pond. I am knowing and trusting that these messages, this love, this joy will spread out into the world, making the world a much brighter, better, more wonderful place. I am so thankful for these truths. I am so thankful for each and every person who is here to bring this message out into the world, for the music, for the people, for the talk, for all of it, for this very, very special place that we call this universe and Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. I release my words into the perfect action and the order of the law, knowing them to be true, complete, and whole, knowing them to already be in action, knowing that this message is moving out into the universe from each and every person already, from here on out into infinity. I let go and I let God, and together let us anchor these words by taking together, and so it is.
At Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that teaches us how to think and not what to think. We invite everyone to practice this philosophy by living in principle. We believe that God is all there is, and each person's relationship to God is a personal one. Every person, place, and thing, and all the space in between is not only an expression of God, but God itself. All love, peace, and beauty that is God exists within each person right now. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
If you've heard me speak before, you know that I believe in the power of affirmation and the power of affirmative prayer, and that I like to say it 3 times. I like to say the affirmation once for body, physical body, once for mind, that metaphysical mind, that spiritual mind, that ever-expansive knowing the unknowing. And I like to say it for good luck. 3rd time is the charm. So for body, for mind, and for spirit, and 3rd time is the charm. And today is the 3rd time I'm speaking here. So we will know beyond knowing, 3rd time is the charm. I want to say a word that kept coming up in all of the beautiful work, the beautiful videos, and the beautiful talk, and Allison. Take a moment and take a breath. There's a minister in you. Did everyone hear it?
Yes. Yes.
So open that up to possibility. Open that up to possibility. I like to say that gratitude sets our attitude. and our attitude sets our altitude. And the higher we're willing to fly with Spirit, the higher we're willing to go beyond the precedent of what we know, Spirit is everywhere present. And that has never been more true than for me today. 12 years ago, I met my husband at a spiritual CSL conference at Asilomar. We met at lunch. I was table hopping. I was with Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, but I went to Palm Springs table at lunch and different tables because I wanted to meet different people. I sat at a table one day, and Reverend Dr. Ruth Wilkerson was at that table for lunch. And seeing her face before me today is an affirmation that we are always in the divine right place, we are always on divine right purpose, and we are always connected with that divine Spirit. And never have I felt so connected today with her presence here. I had taken a ride share up to Asilomar that year. Broke the cookie jar to get to Asilomar, and the way Spirit works, the Asilomar, I forget, it was $1,700, not in my budget, and I so wanted to go. That year it didn't fill up, they reduced it to $1,500, not in my budget, I didn't go. 3 days before Asilomar took off, I get an email from CSL headquarters, $1,200, and I went, how loud does Spirit need to speak to you? So I broke the cookie jar, but I said, gosh, getting up there, so I asked a friend from CSL Palm Desert if I could ride share, and he said, of course you can ride share. And so we rode share up, and he went his way during the conference, I went my way, and I ended up meeting Dr. Ruth, and I also met a gentleman named Bob English, who used to come to this church, who made his transition. Yeah? Well, how's Spirit working in this house? How's Spirit working in our lives? How's Spirit ever present when we open up to seeing it, being with it, and honoring it, and being in gratitude for it? So Bob was also at that table. We talked, we became fast friends. How do you become fast friends over a quick lunch between seminars? So Bob and Ruth and I, on the way back, I said, could I ride share with you guys? Because I want to talk about this stuff. And so I came back home with them, and I rode share back home with them. And I had 5 or 6 hours to talk about faith and hope and ministry, and is God ever present? And Reverend Ruth, on the way back down, kept saying, Michael, I keep getting this name coming to me. The name is Jim. The name is Jim. The name is Jim. And I went, there's no Jim in my life, not in my universe. A year later, how does Spirit work? Bam! Jim was my best spiritual friend for years. He was sort of an assistant minister at Palm Desert. He was Dr. Tom Costa's sidekick. And Jim always said, you should take some foundation classes. And of course I didn't while he was alive, I did later. And she kept saying, Jim has a message for you. And so I know Jim is here today. I know Bob is here today, and Ruth Ann. There's 3, right? There's your, third is the charm, right? 3. How clear can the message be? And so one thing that I'm discovering in my life, and I'm not sure we're discovering things in our life as much as we're uncovering, and people help us uncover who we truly are. And Allison, I really hope you explore the uncovering of you are the I am, right where you are. And that's a great gift. But one thing I'm learning in this noisy world, this teaching, the core of this teaching, the heart of this teaching, the center of this teaching is freedom. What does freedom look like to you? To find that freedom, to become that freedom, to express the freedom of this teaching. And you can call love freedom, the freedom to love who we choose to love, how we choose to love, how we choose to love Spirit, how we choose to love our life, how we choose to love our body, how we choose to love that opening to Spirit's presence. Freedom, the freedom to choose. That's the greatest gift of this teaching. That's the greatest gift of life. That's the greatest gift of becoming individual expressions of who we are. Doesn't have to look like anything anybody tells you it has to look like. Doesn't have to look like what you think it has to look like. It doesn't have to look like anything. But it feels like freedom, it tastes like freedom, it smells like freedom. It shows up in our joy, in our laughter, in our happiness, in our groundedness, in our centeredness, in knowing who we are and whose we are and what we came here to do and to be. And I'm finding that one of the ways that I I go deeper into that grounding, and that groundedness is through silence. And the deeper I go in that groundingness and that groundedness, there comes from that a givingness. There comes a givingness from our groundedness, from our centeredness, from our oneness, from knowing who we are. We become present with others exactly as they are. That's freedom. The freedom to allow yourself to be who you are. And in that presence, in that gift, in that wonderment, we give people just in our presence the freedom to be who they are. That's his teaching. That's universal law and that's universal principle. And so in these times where it gets a little loud outside, if we can become quiet inside, Albert Camus said this, and I think it speaks to the freedom of this teaching, the freedom of individuals, the freedom of God expressing in, as, and through us in our own way. And I think Albert Camus really captured this time for me. If we listen attentively, we shall hear. We shall hear. Amidst the uproar, oh boy. If we listen attentively, we shall hear. Amid the uproar of empires and nations, the faint fluttering of wings. The faint fluttering of wings. The gentle stirring of life and of hope. Some say this hope lies in a nation. Others say it lies in a man or woman or person. I believe, I really believe, rather that is awakened, revived, and nourished by millions of solitary individuals whose deeds and words every day negate frontiers and the crudest implications of history. When I wrote this talk, that wasn't there. I found this clipping the other day and I scotch taped it here because I didn't have time to rewrite it. The faint fluttering of wings. And my talk is butterfly language. And you can't talk butterfly language to caterpillar people. How does Albert Camus come into this presence and talk about the faint fluttering of wings and the talk is butterfly language? How does Dr. Ruth appear on this podium? How does Bob come to memory? How does Jim, who Reverend Ruth tried to bring to the presence of memory, how does this past and present and future come together for each of us and for all of us as one of us? I don't know. If you're looking for the know-how, you're going to miss the being present. If you look for the know-how of what's going on in this world, who people should know how to do it better, but because they have titles, and because they have war chests, and because they have technology which they feel they can misuse, it doesn't mean they are making the choices that are right for us. The choices that are always right are choices that are loving, kind, comparing, compassionate. That's the voice that needs to speak through the noise of the calamity and the chaos going on. I think if we could put the next few lines of this talk on the tables of these people of all nations, we might arise to that consciousness that Ernest Holmes speaks of, that Ernest Holmes invites us to be present with. And this little saying might change the world. And you know, it doesn't matter if we change the world. Mother Teresa said, be with the person you're present with today. And that will change the world. Just here today, just being present with each other. That's where we're present. And here's the opening quote. It is said, butterflies cannot see their wings. They cannot see how truly beautiful they are. But what's interesting is everybody else can see how beautiful a butterfly is. People are like that. We can't see our own beauty. We can't see our own love and light and truth. And so that's why we come together in spiritual community. That's why we come together in this teaching, to help reflect. Ernest Holmes said, we mirror back to each other what we are. Mirroring back to you today, your butterfly wings, your freedom. And when I was sitting out here, spirits everywhere present today, I was looking at our teaching symbol. This is our Science of Mind teaching symbol. Upper layer is spirit, and this is called law or soul, which spirit operates through, and this is the manifest, 1, 2, 3. Spirit, soul, manifest realm, physical realm. And this V, for me, represents the spirit energy which cuts through and honors and unites all of the realms. Yes, it honors all of them. But if you notice, it tips over here. That's because it keeps recycling. It's not finite, it's infinite. That energy keeps recycling from spirit to soul to physical presence and back again. And I'm looking at this, and do you see what I see? Their song, do you see what I see? I'm sitting out here, and my talk is butterfly language. And I looked, and I saw the wings of a butterfly. Can you see that? The wings of a butterfly opening? That's our teaching. That's the symbol, and there it is, everywhere present. And I went, oh my God, Dr. Ruth, Bob, Jim, spirit, butterfly wings. So our talk title is Butterfly Language. Our theme, you cannot talk butterfly language to caterpillar people. And our Science of Mind principle is love. Love is the self-givingness of spirit here through soul into manifest form. And so as we welcome spirits present, we come to realize that butterfly language for my talk, our talks, talk moves through us, right? It's not my talk, it's our talk, it's spirit's talk. But butterfly language is the language of love. That's the butterfly language I'm talking about. And it's a love which speaks not so much to our heads as to our hearts. Yeah? When we can connect on that level, peace will reign supreme, peace will be here, love, joy, it will be here when we talk heart to heart. Because this butterfly language is the love that not only speaks to our hearts, but it touches and stirs our soul. And it's a love which is often the road not taken. How often is it true that the highest of love is the road not taken? Not the road the majority are taking, not the road those in power are taking, not the road that we've been taught to take. And Robert Frost, who I loved, Robert Frost, he wrote a poem about the road not taken, and their love is often the road not taken. Love is often the road not taken. And he says, two roads diverged in a yellow wood. And sorry I could not travel both. I want to do it all, right? Sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far I could. Then took the other just as fair. And having perhaps the other road no better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, for the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning, as with this morning here and now, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and hence, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Where in your life have you taken the road less traveled by? And often the road less traveled by is the road of love. Is the road of love. Butterfly language is the language of love, and Robert Frost spoke butterfly language perfectly. You know, as I walk the path of ministry, I often feel it's the road less taken. For it ever invites me to let go of my planned journey. I have this plan of what it's going to look like, and it's not showing up like that. So what do we get to do? We get to let go of our plan. You know, ministry ever invites me to trust the evolutionary process of my unfolding journey. Let go of that plan. Trust the process of this moment. Trust the process of this world, despite appearances. And as we do, we come to find to a higher purpose of coming to know ourselves better. That's this teaching. That's what this journey of life is about. That's what this life plane is about for me. It's about all of these experiences and how I come to relate to them. Not how the experiences come to own me. I am the minister before you who did not pass panels the first time. I had a plan. I was going to have my church. I was going to have ministry. And not only did on the panel, after 8 years of study, there are 3 ministers who say you're ready or you're not. I got 3 thumbs down. I mean, this was all in. You're not ready. And they said, we're going to do the most loving thing for you we've ever done. We're talking about butterfly language is the language of love. And butterfly language often doesn't look like or sound like love. And when that panel said no to ministry, which I just really felt that was where I should be, moving into at this point in my journey, I was crushed. But they said what you're not hearing. We are not denying you ministry. We are delaying you ministry because you need to let this stuff percolate. You need to let it bubble up. You need to let it come forth. You need to let it own it. You need to get off your notes and your knowledge and your learning. And you need to be present with who you are becoming. I could not see the love in that panel's 3. I could have taken 1 thumb down. 2, 3. And then I went out afterwards, and one of the heads of CSL in Colorado said, ministry is not for you. You need to go home and take a Myers-Briggs test and find out what's for you, because you were never meant to be a minister. I don't know what you're meant to be, but it's not ministry. It was like, where's the hope? Where's the light here? And I went through a year of challenge, learning to reach out, learning to trust, learning to get some mentoring. And that year, which was then delayed 6 more months by COVID, because they weren't paneling during COVID, became 18 months, was some of the richest time of my entire life. It was one of the most painful times of my entire life. Cried buckets, totally lost, but it was one of the richest times of my life. And you know what's true about a butterfly? When the butterfly is in the gooiness of being a caterpillar, it doesn't know that it's becoming a butterfly. It has no idea that it's becoming a butterfly. It doesn't have a clue. It's not, I'm going to become a butterfly. I'm going to become a butterfly. Well, I'm going to become a minister. I'm going to become a minister. I was talking to Betty Ann before service. She talked to me about driving to Sunday service to give a sermon one day, and she got a ticket because she was speeding on the way to the sermon. And I think there was a message there for Betty Ann and for myself and for everyone present here. And the message is that you can't speed your way to enlightenment. You can't speed your way to heaven. You can't speed your way into who you're supposed to be. You have to grow into it. You got to grow into it. You know, we want to jump start. We want to go beyond. We want microwave messages. No, you got to grow into it. And so butterfly language is the language of love, and often it looks more like caterpillar stuff. That panel looked like caterpillar stuff and goo. And it became one of the most loving 1.5 years of my life. So even when it looks like goo and gunk, and I'm seeing a lot of appearances of goo and gunk, if we trust, if we honor, if we center in the truth of love and see the love in the circumstances and the conditions, they will give way to love. 1 heart at a time. Good enough. 1 heart at a time. There's something called Butterfly Dreams. It was written by Chang Tzu, who was a philosopher in the time of 360 BC. And he followed the Taoist way. It's spelled Taoist, but it's pronounced Tao, the Taoist way. And the Taoist way is the way of oneness. The Taoist way believes, as does science of mind and most new thought, that while we are a people of many faces, look around this room today, look at the variety of faces. And look at the variety of places. I know we have people visiting from Washington today, and I was from Connecticut. So we're all from all over. So we are people of many faces, from many places, and of many faiths. We were talking about being Methodist and being Presbyterian and being Catholic and coming to new thought. So we're of many faces, many places, and many faiths, but there's one truth. When we come from our highest good, when we come from the depth of our soul, which allows us to speak from our highest good, we speak the butterfly language of love. That's what unites all religions. That's what will unite all nations. That's what will unite all people. And he said this. Chuang Tzu said, I dreamed I was a butterfly. What joy floating on the breeze without a thought of who I was. When Chuang Tzu awoke, he found himself confused. Am I a man who dreamed I was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly dreaming I am a man? Perhaps my whole life, said Chuang Tzu, perhaps my whole life is but a moment in the life of a butterfly, a moment in the unity of all things as one. What Chuang Tzu experienced and what this teaching brings forth, as we bring it forth, we are the teaching. The teaching is nothing without our living it and breathing it and loving it and embracing it and giving it wings. That Science of Mind text and all of the classes and all of the syllabuses and all the practitioner work, all the ministerial work, if we don't allow that work, the goo of that caterpillar to become the wings that take this teaching into the flight of our life, into the journey of love and only love despite any conditions and any appearances, then we are missing the point of this teaching. Ernest Holmes says, I would rather have one person who embodies, embraces, expresses, experiences this teaching and who lives it, who speaks it, who walks it, who talks it, who demonstrates it, than 1,000 people who know it. My panel was saying to me, I was straight A in ministry. How could I not be a good minister? You didn't let it percolate. You didn't own it. You didn't own it. Take time to own it. Mother Teresa is someone who came to own love, despite the conditions of her world, yeah? Here's what Mother Teresa said about butterfly language. Butterfly language is the language of love. And here's how Mother Teresa embodied, expressed, spoke, walked, or taught. She said, do it anyway. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Have you noticed that? Mother Teresa said, forgive them anyway. She said, if you are kind, people may accuse you of being selfish with ulterior motives. She said, succeed anyway. If you are honest, sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. When you spend years creating, others could destroy that creation overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten tomorrow. Do good today anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, said Mother Teresa, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Butterfly language is the language of love. Mark Twain said of butterflies, happiness is like a butterfly, which when pursued, it always goes beyond our grasp, right? That butterfly is always hopping ahead of that net. But which if you sit down quietly, that butterfly will come and alight upon you. Wayne Dyer has a wonderful story about a butterfly that landed on his shoulder and followed him home. He made lunch. He sat in his patio with this butterfly that would not leave him for hours. It became the photograph. He called his publisher. He was near finishing a book. Publisher said, get a photograph of that on your shoulder. He did. It's the cover of his book. So butterfly language is the language of love. He said it told him his book was done and complete and whole and perfect in time to release it unto the world. So I have one more chapter to write. I have to polish it. I have to finish it. And he said that butterfly stayed with him for 2.5 hours. And it gave him the truth. Your book is ready to fly. You've done the caterpillar. You've done the homework. You've done the editing. You've done the writing. You've done the sweat and tears. Let your book fly. Spread your butterfly wings. So I will end with tips on becoming a butterfly. Number 1. I'm working on this one. I'm working on all of them, but I'm really working on this one. Let go of the past. How many here are working on that one? Yeah, we have almost unanimous vote on that. Tips on becoming a butterfly. Embrace change. Don't resist change. That which we resist persists. Embrace it. Embrace it. What does that change have to teach me? What does that change have to teach me? What that change in my life? What gift is within that change in my life? Open that gift. Embrace that change. There's a gift in it. Come out of the cocoon. Tips on becoming a butterfly. Come out of that cocoon of your fear and your doubt and your faith. Open up that cocoon. Unfurl your wings. Dare to get off of the ground. Ride the breezes in the direction they're going. Don't fight the breeze. Ride the breeze in the direction it's going. Ride spiritual energy in the direction it's going. Spiritual energy is always going in the direction of your highest and best good. That's what is, and so it is, and that's the truth of this teaching. Ride the wings of that wind. It's taking you where, even beyond where you think you can go. Savor the flowers. Savor the flowers today. Put on your brightest colors and let your beauty show. So we'll end where we began. We'll come full circle. That's Science of Mind, full circle. Beginning, middle, end, spirit, soul, manifestation. All one circle, all one unity, no radius, no circumference, all one. We'll end where we began today, with our butterfly taking flight. And we'll honor Bob and Dr. Ruth and Jim and Ernest Holmes, but mostly today, I invite us to honor ourselves. The power's within us. They had their power. They expressed their power. They shared their power. They shared their insights to wake up to the truth of who we are, whose we are, and what we are becoming. Embrace that. It is said butterflies can't see their wings. They cannot see how truly beautiful they are. But the funny thing is, everybody else can. When you don't think you're beautiful today and some part of your life isn't beautiful, everyone in this room sees your beauty. They're not looking to your conditions. They're experiencing your consciousness of love is all and all is love. So butterflies can't see their wings. They can't experience how beautiful they are, and people are like that too. Today, in some way, I hope you were touched and your heart was touched and your spirit was stirred, and that you came to truly see in this moment what Dr. Ruth knew and what Bob knew and what Jim knew and what Ernest Holmes knew, and they still know because they're still present. They still know it's not what they knew, it's what they are being. They want us to be with. You are absolutely beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful. 3 times, I like to affirm 3 times, 3rd time's the charm. And I invite you to affirm that with me. I am absolutely beautiful. I am absolutely beautiful. I am absolutely beautiful. And so it is. So we'll go into prayer, and we'll know that, the butterfly lives only, some of the butterflies, the monarchs live only a week or 2, and yet they travel thousands of miles in their short time on Earth. I'm knowing that we can travel on Spirit's wind, Spirit's breeze, Spirit's guidance, Spirit's higher knowing, Spirit's higher calling, Spirit's higher purpose. as one with our calling and our knowing and our purpose. And as we embrace that, as we affirm that, as we own that as ours, as we come to the I am of the oneness of spirit, as one with the wholeness of self, we come to realize that what we acclaim manifests in our lives multifold. The gifts of heaven as on earth, the gifts of perfect wellness, perfect mental well-balance, perfect spiritual awakening in our own divine right time. And we are grateful for all of it. We are grateful for all of it. And in accepting that gratitude for all of the changes, all of the appearances, all of the conditions, we come into a gratitude of knowing the allness of the one, of spirit, soul, and body, right here and right now. I give thanks for this wonderful teaching. I give thanks for this heart-centered spiritual community. I give thanks for the truth of knowing that today, to the best of the ability of our being open to the message, truth was spoken here today. Truth was received here today. And truth is the gift we leave here today, a gift which we open with each breath, with each thought, with each beat of our hearts as we go forward today. And together I invite us to say, if something in that prayer spoke to you, if something in the message spoke to you, if something you shared someone in the congregation speaking with today, I invite you to say, and so it is.
Thank you for joining us for our Sunday service. Please remember to like, comment, and share this video on Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media you are a member of. To donate to CSL Beaumont, you can text GIVE to 951-420-6909, or you can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the top or bottom of the page. You can also mail your donation to CSL Beaumont, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. Have a blessed day, and namaste.